Welcome back, everybody. Today we are going to continue with our 1-point perspective drawings by adding some depth to the shapes that we have. So last time, hopefully you finished up drawing just the flat version, the different shapes that you want to include in your project. Before we move on today, what I would really recommend doing is erasing that horizon line that you drew in. We're going to be drawing a lot of different lines today, and we do not want it to get confusing. The horizon line has served its purpose, which was to tell us where the vanishing point is, so we can go ahead and get rid of it. And again, if you drew lightly, it should be very easy to erase. All right, so for today, you just need your project, as you left it last time, a pencil and a ruler. So what we want to do, we are going to be drawing sight lines. Sight lines go from the object to the vanishing point in a 1-point perspective or any linear perspective project or drawing. So we're going to be drawing sight lines from each of the shapes down to or up to the vanishing point. So pretty much everything is going to be going to this point. The lines will be getting closer together as it goes to the vanishing point so that it looks like they vanish, which is why it is called the vanishing point. I am going to recommend, for the purpose of this project, that you start with the shapes that are closest to the vanishing point. That will make more sense in a couple minutes when we talk about overlapping different shapes. I'm going to start with this square right here first. So you want to draw lines from any of the corners or edges to the vanishing point. So because this is a square, it'll be a little bit easier to find those edges. All right, so I'm going to draw a line from the corner of the square here to the vanishing point, and I'm going to use a ruler. You should always use a ruler to make sure that your lines are straight and accurate. All right, so I have one. I'm gonna go over to the next corner right here and also draw again to the vanishing point. All right, and then I'm going to move down to this one right here. Now, I want you to take a look. You'll probably have something that looks like this too. Not a ton of space there, right? But it's there. So I'm going to draw it in. It's a very skinny space though, and that is okay. All right, so here's a question. There's one corner that I haven't drawn to the vanishing point yet. Let's line it up. Let's take a look. Do I need to draw that line in? The answer is no. I don't need to draw that line in. It is there, but because this is not a see-through or transparent shape, it does not need to be drawn in, so I'm going to leave it. You can always test that out for yourself if you need to. If you're thinking like, oh wow, I don't know if that needs to be drawn to the vanishing point, line it up. If you're gonna draw through the shape, you don't need it there, okay? Let's move on to another one. I am going to go to the circle next. Now a circle, yes, is going to be drawn to the vanishing point as well. You might be wondering though, how are we going to do that? It doesn't have any corners. It's true, it doesn't, but it does have edges. For something that's rounded like that, this is what I'm going to recommend. Line up your ruler with the vanishing point, and then we're going to tilt that ruler until it reaches the edge of the shape. That is where you want to draw your sight line in. We're going to do the same thing with the other side of that shape. Line up the ruler with the vanishing point, keeping it on the vanishing point. We're going to tilt it over. And there we go, they are lined up and they are going down to the vanishing point together. I'm going to go ahead and draw in a couple more of my shapes, and then I'll come back in a moment so we can talk about overlapping. All right, everyone, I stopped here for now because I drew all of the shapes that are closer to the vanishing point. Before we move on, I want to show you how to do something where it looks like one shape is overlapping another one. It'll be really important to keep in mind before, when we were drawing this one, I said, if you're going to go draw a line and you think to yourself, well, this is going to go through a shape, you stop and you don't need to draw it. That same idea is going to be true here. Let's take a look at that with this one right up here. All right, so I'm going to start as I did for my other shapes. I'm going to start at a corner and I am going to line them up and draw it down to the vanishing point. All right, testing it out. I don't need to draw from this one because it goes through the shape. But let's see here. I do need to draw from this corner. So I'm gonna draw and I'm going to stop right here. If you're wondering, Mrs. Stuver, why did you stop right there? It's because this line is going behind the circle. Even though we know the line is there, we can't see that part of it. If you're a little bit confused by that still, don't worry. As we progress through this, it should make more sense. I'm gonna do another one that way so that we can get in a little bit more practice. I'm gonna move up to the triangle over here, all right? So again, I'm gonna line them up together. And this is another good example. I'm gonna have to stop. I'm drawing, and then I stop right here because again, what happens? That line goes behind this square. The same thing is gonna happen over here as well. Think to yourself when I need to stop, and let's see if we're correct. Again, I stopped right there so that that can go behind the square. Especially for the outer ring of shapes that you have, that's probably going to be true. I'm going to go ahead and finish up drawing my lines in now, and I'll check back in with you in a moment. All right, everyone, I have drawn my lines in. A really good rule of thumb with linear perspective, take a look at it. If something doesn't look right, it probably isn't right. So after you have finished drawing your lines in, you wanna make sure of a couple things. You wanna make sure that you've really checked all of the corners. If it doesn't need a line there, then great. It doesn't need one, but really make sure that everything is accounted for. Also, you should not have a bunch of lines overlapping here. They should be meeting in the middle. So they shouldn't be going, pretend this is the vanishing point. They shouldn't be going like that and that and that. They should be meeting there. All right, after you have gotten to this point, that's a really great place to stop today. We'll go over the next couple steps next time.